that we've got a bit of time because we're not live, we can chill.
Yeah.
Right? Well, the reason that we're not live is because the Logitech camera is broken. And the spare camera is really poor quality.
It's shite.
We're not going to put you through a whole 40, 50 minutes, hour of shit quality on video. So breathe a sigh of relief. You don't have to watch us.
Yeah, you don't need to look at our ugly faces today.
I had a shower and everything yesterday as well.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, today we are podcast 97.
97.
With myself, Thomas.
And myself, Stephen.
Yeah.
And this is shit you just don't do.
Okay.
Don't do this shit.
Don't do it.
So we have some bullet points and me and Thomas are going to expand on them.
Yeah.
So, Thomas, hit it off.
First one, you've put at the beginning, setting up a tent. But we do want to set up a tent. I think what you meant is don't rush.
Yeah. Topic, setting up the tent.
Yeah.
Don't do rushing and do have patience and perseverance.
Yeah. We don't mind if you like rushing people. We're not saying that. We're just saying don't do things very quickly.
Yeah, don't take offence those 5 Russian subscribers.
Yes, sorry guys, we do like you Russian people. We just don't like rushing when we're setting up our tent.
Yeah, because rushing will create, it'll make it too forced.
Yeah.
So you'll get panicked or, I don't know what the right word is.
Well, the top tip for not rushing is when you're setting up your tent is make sure you unzip all the zips. I've seen somebody unzip a small gap, get inside the tent and try and put the poles up inside the tent. It's quite funny. Try it. It's like doing them Rubik's Cubes.
Oh, have you done one of them before?
No, never.
So it's nothing like doing a Rubik's Cube then.
Yeah, pain in the bloody arse and it won't go up.
If you do try and force it, then you're going to possibly snap the poles and rip the fabrics. So you'd be taking your tent back to the grow shop and asking for a refund, and they're not going to give you one because you rushed it.
Yeah.
Patience and perseverance, that's what you should be doing. Next one. Put the filter in the corner of the room and expect it to clean any smells.
Or even better, leave the plastic film on it.
Yeah, the plastic film that comes with it.
Yeah, that does happen.
Yeah, and then wonder why my fan's blowing and making all crazy noises.
It sounds like chitty bang bang.
We actually had somebody come in and they've said, I put me filter in the room and I'm bringing it back because it's shit. You told me this was a good filter and it's not working. And I said, well, okay, then let's go through your setup. Let's make sure you haven't got something weird going on in the grow room. And that would mean that your filter's not working. So he set me up through it and he drew a picture of a filter in the corner of his room. I was like, okay, where's your ducting and your fan attached to? What do you mean? Your ducting and your fan, where have you attached it to? You haven't drawn it. He went, no, you can put the filter in the corner of the room and carbon absorbs the smells, doesn't it?
Oh.
No.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. You need to connect it and you need to take the plastic film off. So do not leave it in the corner of the room.
Yeah, there's going to be some sounds going on in this. I think by the end of this, you'll hear this all the time. And that is me slapping my forehead with my hands because that's what I do in the shop.
Yeah.
Ask whether you need to buy a fan with your filter. So there's the other type of person. So they haven't quite gone all in and just threw a filter in the room. They've actually said, do I need to buy a fan for this filter?
Yeah.
So you haven't made the cardinal sin of not asking questions, but they still ask that question. It's not good.
The idiotic question that
you do need a fan with your filter.
Here's a top one that I like. Getting angry with the staff because your shade didn't come in blue. Why didn't our shade come in blue? Because his mate got a special offer on the limited edition blue one that's more reflective. Yeah. No, that's because he did not take off the blue protective film once purchased. You know, like that stuff you'd have to peel off your brand new mobile phone or off the TV screen or whatever it is.
You love peeling that stuff off, don't you?
Yeah.
The protective film.
Well, what it is I've got OCD and I can't not peel it off, and it drives me insane.
Well, we set up the telly in the shop. I was really looking forward to unveiling it and that lovely pulling the plastic off. It feels great. And you come in and it was just like, plastic's on! Boom!
Yeah,
pulled it all
that
off.
was my OCD. So, yeah, do not leave the blue film on when you buy your lights.
Or the yellow film, or the orange film, or
whatever bloody colour
it
is.
And don't get angry with the shop staff because they didn't give you the limited edition blue shade.
Yeah, because it's not a limited edition blue shade, you knob. It's the actual protective film.
Yeah,
so,
don't do that.
Yeah.
Next is this podcast is a little bit all over, but it's a little bit of a comedy. It's a little bit, we're taking our
having
foot off the gas,
we
and we're
are
chilling
today.
out a little bit, and we're just talking about some funny shit that people do.
Yeah.
And we're telling all of you, don't do this shit.
No.
Okay.
Some are top tips not to do in your grow room, and some are top tips not to do to us.
Yeah.
Because they slowly torture us.
Exasperate us,
torture our mental state.
Yeah. Next thing that you shouldn't be doing: putting multiple bends or loops into your ducting.
But why not?
Well,
Why can't they just have a big, massive loop-de-loop?
because it looks good. It does look good, doesn't it? All these loop-de-loops and circles, and it looks really shit.
But then what it does do is removes all of the pulling power from your fan.
So multiple bends and loops in the ducting. If you're using a box fan, then the pressure loss is going to be even greater, because, as most of you know, Thomas likes to kick iPads off tables. So,
sorry.
Don't do that, Thomas. Don't do that. Don't do that.
No, do not do that.
That's another top tip. Don't kick iPads off tables, because they break. Back to ducting. If you're using a box fan, the pressure loss on them when you add filters and bends in the ducting is massive. So don't do that shit. If you've got an Isomax and you've got hyper fans, then the pressure loss on them is slightly less. But, Thomas, you're getting exasperated. Essentially, don't put bends and loops in the ducting.
No bends, no loops.
Do you want to do the next one?
Yeah. Buy a 6-way, 8-way, and then use an extension cable to run more lights.
So, I've heard some people saying,
this one...
instead of buying an 8-way and spending the extra £20, they buy a 6-way and then they buy a cheap £1 double socket.
Yeah.
Plug one of the double sockets into the 6-way and run 7 lights off it. Or
Yeah,
6
but
lights.
it's worked a few times before. Yeah, you're skating on thin ice. Do not do this because... Not because, you need to spend a bit more cash. Yeah, you may do. Or you may actually burn the whole place down that you're in. So just work it out what's more cost effective.
Yeah, the extra £20 or your house being burnt down.
Yeah, and I think that's a serious issue. I think it's more serious than any other matters that we could bring up or arise here. So I would really, really, really stop doing that. If that is any of you guys.
Don't do that shit.
Cutting corners with extension cables, extension leads. If you're not, you know in your brain, if you question it yourself, you know it's not right. So don't be doing it.
Anything electrical, don't skint on electrical. Spend even more on electrical, because it is most important.
Top tip for you.
Yeah.
If you're running 6 lights, buy an 8-way.
Yeah, that is a good top tip. Spend the extra £20.
And leave them 2 sockets empty, because that means you are not using your timer on maximum load.
Exactly. Here's another one. If you've got an 8-way and you're only running 4 lights because you're in veg, don't put all 4 lights on one side. Make sure you put 2 lights on one side, 2 lights on the other side, because that, again, splits the load. So that is the 8 ways, or 12 ways, or 6 ways. Don't split that shit. Next, don't come into the shop and get angry with the staff because your filter didn't come with a plug.
Oh.
Hold back on your anger. Maybe think a little bit.
Yeah.
Question yourself first.
This one is self-explanatory.
Maybe go on the forums and ask that question, because at least you're not going to be made fun of in public.
Yeah.
You
Can be
made fun of
embarrassing.
online instead. So just don't do that shit. You've got some bold ones. There's you.
Okay.
Because this is directly relevant to you.
Ask for the owner of the grow shop because you've got a question for him, and then ask what's the smallest bottle of Boost you stock.
This happened
Quite
a while ago, and then we
So they phoned up, our customers phoned up the shop and they've asked for me personally. Went through all the staff as Thomas did, and he patched the phone through to me. And obviously, I'm there for you guys. If you've got an issue and you need to speak to me directly, it might be to tell me that Steve's a load of crap. Yeah. And obviously, you're going to need to speak to me to tell me that. No, that wasn't the case on this conversation. It was basic. Yeah, it was basically just to ask me what was the smallest size bottle of Boost. Now, I did provide that information. However, any member of the staff could actually have gave that information.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Don't ask for the owner because you want to find out something.
Or even better, the one the other day, somebody phoned up and I answered the phone. They probably didn't know it was me.
Yeah.
Anyway, or even better if they did know it was me. They've asked for you.
Yeah.
And then I've passed the phone to you and they asked, what time do we close? Are you fucking messing me? Are you fucking for real or what?
That's like getting through to Apple. Steve Jobs answers the phone, well, not anymore, but he answers the phone, and then you say to him,
Fucking hell, you comparing me to Apple. This is good.
I've got a problem with my iPhone. Is John there from fucking marketing? It's Steve, though. Yeah, I want John from marketing.
Yeah. What time do you close?
Right. This is one. Going to your grow shop and asking for the large pots.
What's fucking large?
Aye. What?
Oh,
a 5 litre pot's
or
large
asking
to
for the
1
ones
litre.
that big. And what I'm doing right now with my hands is putting up a round circular image to stay and just going,
I need that size pot.
I need that size pot.
Now, that looks like a 7.5 litre to me.
But am I talking about the bottom or the top or the distance,
And then
the side?
the customer goes, oh no, that's far too big.
Oh no, that's massive.
Well,
Hi, then we end up like Bruce Springsteen.
yeah. Do you want a 1 litre?
Yeah. Higher.
5 litre?
Lower.
3 litre? Hey, we've got it.
Ooh.
This is your job, Matt. Me and Thomas can go loud.
Yeah,
We want you
loud
to
and
turn us
lower.
down.
And Matt's going to have to adjust it.
We're making your job hard as possible.
Hard as anything.
Right. Okay, back up to this one before the bold. Don't do this. Use the base when you're using your base nutrients, and then come into the shop and ask the staff, when do you start using B? Because you've run out of all of the A.
Oh my God.
To say that's a rookie mistake is being kind, I think.
Yeah, is an understatement.
Because it doesn't take a genius to work out that you had the A and the B.
Together.
Yeah.
So
Now you have A and B grow and A and B bloom. Hopefully that's self-explanatory. You had the A and B grow when you're growing, and you had the A and B bloom when you're blooming.
yeah.
And some of you are blooming thick, so add the A and B together. That's that off my chest. This is like therapy a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're getting all this shit off our chest. Just all the stuff that's annoyed us, and I'm sure it's annoyed some of you that own shops as well. Next one.
Use a bath as a reservoir and then ask your shop how much nutrients to put in and not know the size of the bath. It takes 15 minutes to fill is not a good enough answer.
Can you believe that happened?
It's like asking us to do anything without the
information.
information.
Yeah.
Can you tell me
So
how
it's-
to do something? But I'm not going to tell you what it is. Steve, right? I've got this big problem.
Okay. Again.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. I've got this big problem, but I can't tell you what it is.
Okay.
So can you help me?
When did it happen?
A couple of weeks ago.
A bit lost here.
And my room's quite warm,
I need some more information.
but then it goes a bit cold.
Okay, so between when the sun comes out and when the sun
And the
goes
lights come on, and then they go off.
down? Okay, and then let me guess, they come back on again.
Yeah.
Need a bit more information.
What do you mean, like?
Well, what we need you to do is actually look at what's going on in your grow room and tell us.
So
Give us
basically, what we're
information.
trying to say is, do not come into the shop with a question without being able to give us some CSI tips.
Yeah.
So you need to know your grow room essentials, credentials,
Yeah.
temperature, humidity,
The maximum and minimum temperature.
Yes.
How powerful your extraction is. Do you use an intake?
size of your water butt,
How big is your room?
how much you are feeding per time, per serving,
Yeah. How many lights have you got
what
going on?
nutrients are you using,
Do you
how well
measure
are the plants
pH and EC?
feeding,
There's a lot of information.
what colour do the plants look like?
So actually, we can skip forward to
Yeah.
one of this one, because the point that I made here is saying this: don't do this. Plants are looking sick, so they must need more water and nutrients.
Nope.
If that is you, then rewind to episode 84,
Yeah.
Plant Whisperer,
Yeah.
and see what we say. Join the club of plant whispering weirdos. And Thomas is the president of that one.
Oh, thank you. That's just because I'm a weirdo. Nothing to do with any plants or not.
So, have your information ready when you go to your grow shop. The more information you provide, the better chance that they have got of giving you the right answer. If you go with them with your temperature and humidity. Well, that's better, but you've got a lot of information at your disposal. Give it to the shop if you need their help. Where is next? Right, to be honest, I want to go back to that using the bath as a reservoir, because he came in and said, I fill me bath, how much nutrients do I put in? Like, it's a bit of an odd thing to do, but okay, how big's
much
your
water's
bath?
in a bath?
Yeah, how big is your bath?
Anyway?
I don't even know what a typical bath fills up to, but there's all different size baths now, isn't there? So there's jacuzzis.
Because you've got
small
long
baths, double
people and
baths.
short people and fat people and skinny people.
Yeah.
See, my bath only has like 5 litres of water in.
You only dip your toes in,
Yeah,
don't you?
slimline. Yeah.
So, know the size of your bath. He didn't have a clue what size. He said, I just fill it up and I'd just throw in some in and throw in some
I
bait.
could just lie down in a garland tray, me.
Yeah. Is that what you do? How often do you water yourself?
Yeah, once a day.
I was watering while you're looking a bit yellow today. So don't do that. Basically, go to your grow shop with as much information as possible and they will be able to help you. Yeah, but our next
Buying
bullet point-
50-litre pots and only vegging for 4 weeks, or buying 10-litre pots and vegging for 8 weeks. Pot sizes increase veg time. Pot sizes also determine the veg time. So do not basically put small plants in huge, massive pots. Go through the stages, small pot up. We've talked about potting up and sizes and various media and various sizes of pot and length of grow period and flower
if that
period.
interests you, and you want to go into more depth, I think we're about 20 episodes ago we talked about potting up.
Yeah, so basically, if you're not into potting up, you need to be. And stop overloading your small little root system with mass amounts of media, moisture and nutrients, or vice versa, having a really intense root system developed within a tiny pot. It's choking itself.
Well, two things can happen. One, you're going to spend too much money on cocoa if you go into a large pot, because you don't need that much cocoa. And you know what people tend to do? They feed the cocoa rather than the plant. So you could put a tiny plant, I'm talking like 2 or 3 inches,
That's a
into
good
a
tip,
50
that
litre
what you
pot,
just said there, Steve.
and you're going to water drench the cocoa, and then you put a massive plant in a small pot and the water's gone in seconds. So you're there literally, you'd have to be there every couple of hours giving it what it needed. So make sure your pot size is relevant to how big you're going to grow your plant for.
Yeah.
Don't just buy a 50-litre pot because bigger pots means bigger yields. It doesn't.
And as Stephen said then, make sure you water your plant according to the plant and not the pot.
Yeah.
Good tip.
Do not do this. Use water straight from the taps in winter to water your plants.
Why though?
Because that shit's cold and will stress the plant out.
So, it's never done nothing wrong. It looks alright.
Ah.
Plant doesn't say nothing to me.
Because you're not letting it whisper to you.
Yeah, because you're not the plant whisperer. The plant's actually going, fuck off. Yeah.
And then taking 2 or 3 hours to get to the right temperature for nutrients.
It looks like a scene out of one of them lost films with Lost in the Arctic forever.
What about that film? I don't know which film it is. Jack Nicholson with all the frost dripping off his face, and he sat there.
Yeah.
That's what your plant's doing. So this temperature of the water coming out of your taps at this time of year in the UK can be like 2-3 degrees, and that's going to massively stress the plant out. So don't do that shit. At least let you
Don't do that shit.
At least get the water up to room temperature, or invest in a water
And let it
heater.
stand with the lid off and let the chlorine evaporate as well.
Little bonus extra
Why
there
not?
that happens.
Why not?
Next, do not do this shit. Use 3, 4, 5, 6 new products every time you do a grow.
Why not?
Because how on earth are you going to know which product worked
All
and
of them
which was
work.
a waste of money?
Oh, they all work.
Unfortunately, in our industry, there's a lot of profiteers. You know, them people that we are at
Like the
war
musketeers.
against. But, yeah.
They're evil and they just want money.
Yeah. And
The
they don't have-
musketeers
they
are
don't
good,
have
weren't
swords.
they?
The musketeers are very good. Yeah. All for one and
We're
one
the
for all.
musketeers.
Who are you?
Dog Tanyan.
Dog Tanyan. Is that like the pets version of musketeers?
It is, isn't it? There was a cartoon. Wasn't there?
I was going to say Donatello, and he's a fucking...
He's a tail, you muffin. At least I was closer, right?
Who's another one? He's a musketeer.
D'Artagnan.
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 I can only think of the turtles. Donatello and
Leonardo and Michelangelo.
Versace. Let's move
Anyway.
on.
Yeah, so I'm D'Artagnan.
I'm Donatello. I like green, what can I say? Right, do not use these new products or any products. Don't use 3... I've got to... Rewind. don't use a lot of new products every time because, like I said before, you don't know which one will work and you don't know which one's a waste of money. So have patience, try one at a time, or do side-by-side trials if you want to use multiple products. Make sure you've got your baseline to compare against as well. Otherwise, you just haven't got a clue what's good product and what's a bad
so
product.
just
or
slow
what doesn't
down,
work
stop
for
wasting
you.
your money, just take your time and just do side-by-side testing. Do not just buy all different nutrients and put them all in the same plant and do all the same thing, because that's not going to be any beneficial to you, is it? Because you're not going to see any differences. Do you know what I mean? You're just going to be wasting all your money, and you might be still getting good results, but you won't be seeing the differences and what each product does. And that's what the point of all of this, what we're going on about, is being efficient, like our other podcast. Last week's podcast.
Be efficient with your nutrients. And this is top tip alert, top tip. So wake up if you fell asleep, because if you need help identifying if you are in a good grow shop or not, if your grow shop has ever said to you, listen, you do not need that product, just go home and do A, B and C, then you're probably in a good grow shop. If your shop has turned around and said, oh yeah, you've gone in and said I need this product, this product, this product and this product, and they go, yep, there you go, there you go, there you go, there you go, not said any more, the chances are you're in a shop that's just is bothered about money.
Yeah.
Most good shops would turn around and go, well listen, you bought two products and they're quite similar, so you don't need that one.
We laugh in the face of money. I'm only messing.
So that's a top tip for seeing if you're in a good shop or not.
So,
and if you are a shop and you don't do that, but you are wanting to be a good shop, start doing that shit.
Do that shit, man.
Next top, don't do this shit. Putting the lights as close as possible to the plants, because more light is more yield, right?
Yeah, of course. Just put them right on top of them.
Like touching these
Touch
bulbs.
them.
And if it burns it doesn't matter, because
just wire tape them to the plants, innit?
And what happens if they start to burn?
Nah.
It doesn't matter.
Why would they
got
burn?
so much light.
Why would they burn? Of course they burn. Keep your plants distance from the bulb at the correct distance.
Exactly.
Depending on wattage will determine the distance.
Yeah. So at the bottom there, I've said roughly. Now you need to be careful because you've got to adjust accordingly. But as a starting point for you guys,
a foot.
Yeah. Well, a foot is that 60.
Whose foot though? A little person's foot or the big person's?
Well, I've got a foot at home that's only like 3 centimetres.
Well,
and my foot's like 30 centimetres.
So, 12 inches?
Yeah, I think that's about 60 centimetres for a
Okay.
600 watt light.
But I know that if you have 1,000 watts, it should be double that.
Yeah. It's about 80 centimetres to a metre away, 100 centimetres.
And remember what we said about your bulbs if they're fading?
Yeah.
They'll be adding some heat, but that was on a previous
I
podcast.
think we've mentioned it on this as well. But to give you an analogy, now I can talk about this because I've got a red-headed brother, so don't get offended, all you redheads. But if you put your lights as close to your plants as possible, it is like putting a redhead out in the midday summer with no sunscreen and saying, but yeah, the sun is good for you though. It's all
Knowing
how.
you know your brother.
Yeah.
And if we put him out in the sun, what's going to happen to him?
He's going to fry
Without any sun cream.
without any sun cream.
There you go.
To be fair, even with sun cream, I'm fully clothed, he fries.
There you go.
The bane of being a redhead.
There you go.
There you go. But he does say he is God's child, though. He
Yeah.
was touched by God, that's why he's got red hair. So,
Well, he is better looking than you anyway, so.
opinion. It's just funny how it's everyone's
Well,
opinion.
it does help when both of your eyes are online and your nose is quite straight.
Yeah, that's why we have gone live today, isn't it? I'm looking a bit squiffy. Right, you can do this one.
Ooh. Fan and filter.
Yeah.
Use a 6-inch fan and filter on a 4-light tent to remove the heat.
It happens.
Why can't you do that though? Loads of people do it. Why can't
not
you
use a 4-inch?
Why in fact, fuck it. Just get the fan and filter and throw it out the window, you don't need it.
Yeah, and just stick the carbon in the middle of the room.
Yeah, stick the carbon filter on the floor, leave the wrapper on it.
Yeah,
yeah.
Plug the plug in
Yeah.
to the filter.
Put just a plug with no wire on it in the wall socket.
'Cause it looks good.
Get the cable, leave that on the floor because you haven't connected that. You haven't even got a fan, you've just got the filter.
Don't do that shit.
Leave the blue plastic or pink covering over your lights
Oh, yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah.
Switch them on so it burns.
Oh, look, 'cause
and you
that
can
smell.
smell that burn and smell.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that's and then get your plants and stick them dead close to the light. And then get 12 lights and a couple of adapters and put them into a 4-way timer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if your leaves are black and crispy and crumbling under your fingers, then they're not photosynthesizing efficiently.
Yeah.
You need to go black and crispy, otherwise your plants
Do not do any of that. That was a quick summary on what not to do. That was a bad grow room.
Yeah, you've just essentially summarised the whole podcast.
Yeah,
in
and
2
probably
minutes.
spoke about a lot of people's grow rooms right now. They're running around thinking, oh my God. Shit.
What about the people that last week ran out halfway through the podcast and was like, okay, that's me.
Yeah.
Got to go and sort that shit. So what you got to do is match your fan and filter to the amount of light and space that you are growing in. Please do not just walk in and just go, I just need a 6-inch or an 8-inch.
Remember the
10-inch
equation
fan
that we
filter.
constantly go on about. If you don't know what we're talking about, check back on our previous podcasts.
There's 96 of them.
Yeah.
Plenty of information.
We constantly ramble on about this stuff, the air extraction equation. Make sure you've calculated it and got it right. Make sure you understand what it means.
On the subject of air and extraction, when extracting a lot of air and not opening any side vents off, if you don't have an intake, that is.
Oh, so you're looking to make your tank collapse?
Oh, yeah. That negative pressure will make it fold quicker than a customer asking for a discount in a grow shop.
Yes, it will indeed. We've had a customer as well. Right, mate, put this tent up and it just fell down. Like, put my fan on, lads. You've given me the fan's too powerful. All right. First of all, have you opened any of the vents? Yeah, and I opened them all. So we get to the tent and look, all the vents are shut, welded shut.
He actually brought the tent back, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And basically...
Poles had collapsed.
He basically put, I think it was the 3250 10-inch box fan, and he's put it on the tent at 2.4 by 1.2.
Hasn't got any air intake, but that doesn't
No,
really
I think
matter.
it was a 2 metre square tent, to be honest.
Yeah.
And
kept all the vents closed.
yeah, and just basically sucked the arse out of it until it collapsed.
Now, if he was trying to recreate the conditions of the Big Bang, he was probably getting closer to that than actually building a grow room.
Yeah, so if you do set up your tent and it is looking to collapse, top tip, probably switch the fan off.
Or dim it down.
Yeah, and then assess to see whether any vents are open or closed. If not, open them.
We do like to have negative pressure. We do like to see a nice curvy tent.
Yeah.
But not so much curves.
Yeah, so it
that looks like an hourglass. Or...
Yeah, so don't do that.
Next one for all the people listening in the grow shops, you'll like this one. When visiting your shop, do not start asking for discounts on a £10 piece of kit. Show some loyalty to your shop, absorb the free advice they give you, and they'll automatically look after you. Because us specifically, we really look after the ones that never ask for discounts. Not because we're looking
That's
after
a top
them.
tip.
Because they don't ask for discounts, it's just they tend to be the customers that appreciate the time and advice that we give them and buy what they want to buy. So it's better if you never ask and you will receive. So I'm going against that little quote there, ask and you will receive. No, when you're in a grow shop, do not ask for discounts because you will receive in the long run. And this is my top tip for grow shops. If you have a shop full of discounters, get yourself a chess clock. You're not going to play chess. You're going to put it on the side of your desk, and when a customer comes in who likes to discount, ask them, and they start asking for advice, start the clock. Okay, 20 minutes of your time is worth, let's say £50 for 20 minutes of your time. When you get to the end of the advice and your bill comes to £100, and they say, can I have a bit of discount on that? Go, of course you can. Of course you can. Mum, how many minutes was that? 20 minutes? Okay, so I've charged you £50 for that advice. So I tell you what, mate, I'm going to give you that advice for free. So your bill was £150. I've now just knocked a nifty off, and it's now a 1A.
But
And
at
they go happy.
you get our advice free of charge all the time.
I don't think they realise, though, do they?
They
don't realise how
don't.
sometimes people take an hour.
But what the emphasis on this is that to our loyal customers, we gladly provide this free
We give
charge.
them the world.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of other shops give the world and give a lot of their time. Time's the most precious commodity. Do not underrate it, people. Next one. I think this one is actually one of our friends has said this. This is one of their do not do this shit.
Right,
tips.
calendar growers. Do not watch the calendar like a hawk. Each plant is different and each growing season is different. Do not be the person that starts on a date and says she will be finished on 23rd of blah at 9:45 at this time. Do not be that person. This is one of my key top ones, this, because plants don't understand calendars. Plants can't read calendars. Plants don't give two hoots about calendars. Plants give a toss about themselves and how are they doing, and their calendar depends on how well they are doing. If that plant leads a fully happy life from start to end, it will just so happen on your calendar will be right. However, problems occur and plants don't always have that happy life. It might only be for a couple of days. However, the calendar will change. Things will vary. So if you are still attending to your days on your calendar but haven't took into other matters and issues that have been developing with the plant, you can end up cropping or harvesting your plant. However, it's out of sync with the calendar. So do yourself a favour, put the calendar in the bin and focus on the plant.
Top advice. Next, if you know it's a warm day outside, do not wait until it gets too hot. Anticipate it and increase your extraction, or if it's on a dimmer, dim it. Got that the wrong way around. You're going to do some editing there. So if you know it's a warm day outside, do not leave it too late until it gets too hot. Anticipate what's going to happen. Go in and turn your fan up if it's on a dimmer, or knock some lights off. Be ready for what you know is going to happen. Like we say, get the weather app on your phone, check the weather for the next day, and make sure that it's you're on point with if you need to turn it up or turn it down. If you wait for it to get too hot and you're doing work afterwards, then the plants aren't going to be in a good condition. So don't do that shit. Preempt it. This is another one that got mentioned in the shop before. You set the light timer and then not check that it's working before you leave. Not cool.
Risky business, that.
If you're going to set your light timer...
Well, some people set a lot of things and don't check it.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
Yeah. You got to... Some people just follow instructions, set the light timer, think it's all working and then crack on. At least make sure that the lights are coming on and going off when you expect them to. More shit you shouldn't tell your grow shop to do is that you can get it cheaper on eBay or Amazon.
Not a top tip to be giving you a grow shop.
No. Go to eBay and Amazon, that's sweet. But don't go back to your grow shop and say, I bought this product and I'm having a trouble issue here. Go to fucking eBay and Amazon and tell them.
Go and ask them. Go and ask them how to put it together and ask them when your problems are going wrong. I'm sure they'll be great in giving you some hydroponic grow advice.
I think eBay have got some instant assistance, haven't they? Ask them why you've got a calcium magnesium deficiency. And we might be being a little bit harsh, but it's better us being harsh on this than going to your grow shop. Then remembering you went to eBay and going, fucking leg it, lad.
Do you know what I mean?
So we're saving you that embarrassment. Don't do it. Don't do it tomorrow.
This is a top one. This is one that hit home last week as well, didn't it?
It was.
For a couple of our customers when we played it in the shop. Exactly. A couple of my friends as well, personal friends walked out.
Don't do it tomorrow because tomorrow never comes. Do it today. If there's something that you've got to do today, pause the podcast because we'll still be here when you get back and go and do that shit. Don't do that shit tomorrow. Okay? Also, don't get complacent. Complacent? That's one of your words, isn't it?
That's what you took that out. You took that out of my dictionary. Don't get complacent.
You've done well to get this far, so don't start slipping because you think you're God's gift to botany. You get to a certain point and you think you know it all. Don't be that person.
Remember what we told you about the learning cycle?
And the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Yes.
You think you know it all.
And the graph where we showed you where it goes up to the point where you know everything, and then everything crash falls down, and then you spend the remainder of your life building that peak of excellence.
Exactly. So don't get complacent. Don't let us catch you slipping. Next thing that we don't want you to do is dim your bulbs without changing the bulbs, if that makes sense. So
we spoke about this when we've been intense on lighting. It's a big one of mine. This people have dimmable digital ballast, which allow them various settings between 250 watt, 400 watt, 600 600S or whatever. If you're going to change down to that wattage rating, change the bulb to the right rating. Don't switch the bulb, distort the bulb.
Exactly. Now, if you're in the summer and there's a major issue outside, it's super hot, you can get away with dimming them, but try and not have them dim. Don't try and dim a 600 watt bulb to 400 watts for as long as possible, because you're going to stress the bulb out. It's going to reduce its lifespan, and it's going to give you less output. And the number one tip with bulbs and regarding dimming is do not dim metal halide bulbs. You can get away with dimming HPSs, but if you do turn metal halide, and you're going to be in for possibly a loud bang. And when a metal halide bangs, mate, it bangs, trust me. So just don't mess around with metal halides and dimming, and you'll be okay.
Top one I've picked out of your list here that really shines out to me is don't get stuck in your ways. Always be willing to learn.
Yeah.
I think that's the highlight of today. That.
Yeah, that's it. If you're going to listen to one of our don't do that shit, don't get stuck in your ways, because you'll always be the same old boring person, still using Game Boys, still driving. Why aren't we all driving,
Cavaliers?
Ladders.
Yeah. Because we evolved, didn't we?
Yeah,
we
we
learned
got better stuff.
Yeah, and we upgraded, and we spent time to do research and other things in our lives. So why not, if it's something that you really enjoy and you see you're going to be doing for the rest of your life, spend your life learning it.
Yeah, and evolve with it as the time's grown. I'm sure you're all using modern phones. You're mostly using flat screen TVs. You probably watch telly more than you do listen to radio, apart from when our podcast is on, because I know that you all listen to this shit. So don't get stuck in your ways and always be willing to learn. That's the number one top tip.
Yeah.
Don't do that shit.
Yeah.
So there's plenty more. To be honest, I think a don't do that shit's going to become like a little mini series, like Scientist versus Skeptic, because there's like 1,000 things we could
don't do
about.
that shit.
And then that's it. So we're going to sign off by saying, don't
do that shit.
And we'll be back next week.
And
See
that's
you all for next week.
That's all, folks. Yeah. Thanks for listening.
I want Looney Tunes on at the end of this one, okay? Yeah.
Sound.
Sweet.
Thank
In
you.
a bit.
Bye-bye.
Ta-ra, guys.
That's all, folks.